Okay, this is the Canvas Board meeting of November 11, 2024. I'd like to call this meeting to order. You can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. During roll call, we're missing Mayor Gordon and Councilmember Lundin. We do have a quorum. Do we have any public comment?
Yes, so I do have a public comment. Someone had asked me to read this off for them on their behalf because they could not come in tonight. So I'll just read verbatim what was sent to me. As an election judge, my concerns are that some people who voted early in person did not have their votes counted by the Secretary of State's office in St. Paul. Whether this is an error on the county side, the state of Minnesota side, or a combination is unknown by me. However, when so many people are concerned about election integrity, this seems to me an issue that needs to be addressed and resolved. So that was something I got from another election judge, and I just wanted to read that off for everybody.
Interpret that. What is she saying?
We can talk about that in the next, I think we should talk about that in the business item section. I just wanted to read exactly what she said. If I can read it again if you'd like.
I'm surprised if she was an election judge, she didn't show up here in person and want to address that. Okay, motion to adopt agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, business item.
And call for, and then that it passes. We have a motion by Holmgren,
Oh,
a second by Merrill. All in favor, say aye.
Motion adopted by Councilman Holmgren, second by Councilmember Merle. Motion is adopted.
all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're on to business item F1, resolution to canvass returns for the municipal general election and special election held on November 5th, 2024. I'd like to say a few words. I'd like to thank staff and the election judges for all the hard work they put into this. I know the county worked really hard. We had a big turnout for early voting, and I think they did a great job. I voted on Sunday. There were 40 people there waiting in line. I thought everything went really smooth. We're here tonight just to basically confirm the numbers that came off the tape and the number of ballots and make sure they match. If anybody has any concerns about the election, I think they should go through the proper channel. If we want to discuss hypotheticals, I don't think this is the place to do it. I think we need to bring that up at COW or a regular city council meeting. Unless somebody here has 100% proof that this election, that 100% proof there was any fraud in this election, I'd like to make a motion to take a vote on this. I'll make a motion to approve the resolution. Do I got a second?
Further discussion?
What?
Further discussion?
We can discuss after the vote.
Okay.
No second.
No second? All right. What do you guys want to talk about?
If I may, I would just like to mention that that motion did fail.
Okay, motion has failed. Do you guys want to have some discussion and then take another vote on this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I would like to say also that I think the election went very smooth. I was an election judge on Tuesday, and I think it was really great to see the amount of people that came in. People are excited about this election, very excited. There were a lot of new voters. I think we registered somewhere around 400 or 450 just in our 2 precincts, which is amazing. I think the city staff and the election judges here did a fantastic job. We had really good communication all day. The average wait time was less than 5 minutes, so I thought that was pretty awesome. We were able to fit a lot of people in here pretty smoothly. Throughout the day, I think it all went pretty smooth. Towards the end of the day, I did see specifically a small problem with people that had early voted at the county and then came in here and their name was not marked as an absentee voter. I wrote that in the incident log. On the second one, the first one I didn't because I was kind of dumbfounded. It's like, oh, I don't know how that happened. But then I saw another person that the same thing happened, so I wrote that in the incident log. And then there was a third person that came in. Similar situation, they had voted early at the county, and their vote was not listed as absentee on our roster. So I wrote that in incident report, and I guess I would just like some answers on that. I did reach out to a couple of county commissioners, and we didn't really get a whole lot of answers. I know Josie was at the meeting today where they talked about it, and I listened to the meeting, and they did not specifically answer that question, so I guess I would just like to know more specifics on that. I was told that it was probably human error, but I guess I would like to know the scope of that human error and how we can address it next time to make it so it doesn't happen. I think the election was fair. I think it was well done, but I would like to make sure that it's perfect because every voter should feel like their vote counts, no matter which side of the aisle you're on. So that's my 2 cents on it. I just would like some more answers before we vote to approve.
Jeff, do you have anything to add?
Josie, you went to the county meeting this morning?
That is correct, yes, I did.
Was there any discussion about the election?
During the meeting, there was not discussion in terms of having any discussion on incidences. The county auditor had shared what the percentage of voters were, how many were early absentee voters, had shared that there was no major incidents, there was no threats, that they left at 4 a.m. Last precinct arrived at about approximately 11:30 p.m. There was a couple questions from the commissioners in regards to a threat, if there were any threats, or why they had left so late. Her response was that they were ensuring that all the ballots were counted correctly before anything was uploaded to the state auditor's office. That was pretty much the extent during the meeting. I did have a discussion with the county auditor outside of that meeting. I've asked her to send me an email with the response that I could share with a council member who had made the request of asking for the information that Councilman Merrill just asked, and I have not received that email yet.
So basically, in that question, I had asked to again see the voter rolls, basically the list that we were checking, and then the incident report, so I could cross-reference and make sure that they were in fact incorrect. And then there are some other members of the community that already voted and are concerned that their vote might not have been included. So that to me, it's like, you know, you want to come in, you want to vote, and you want to feel like your vote counts. Well, those 3 people that I interacted with were like, well, if I'm not on there, did my vote even count? Should I vote again? And I don't know how to answer that question, so, and.
I can answer it in a sense. I'll go back to why we're here, and that is to make sure the ticker tape and the ballots matched, and they do match. If we're talking about individual voter fraud where supposedly somebody comes in, they had already voted at the county, but they come in here to see if their name is still on the roll, that's individual voter fraud. They can be charged with a felony for that, and there's so many scenarios that can happen. It could happen in an illegal alien, having a driver's license, coming and voting. It could happen where somebody knows their neighbor isn't going to vote because he's really sick and has his friend go in and impersonate him and use his name for a vote. I mean, there's many individual type circumstances where there can be voter fraud, but in the scope of what we're approving tonight is not that. We're not, you know, we can't sit here and discuss hypotheticals because that's what they are. none of those people, we don't know. There's not one of us here can say 100% certain we know somebody who voted that should not have voted or voted twice. Now, that's on the county level to figure out. It's also, you have to go through the right channels, through the district court. You can file a petition with them, and you can do it yourself. You are an election judge, or even as a private person, and go through the right channels. And I think you have until the 16th of November to do that. But I believe that what we're just approving is the numbers that they matched, what came off the ticker, and how many ballots were actually cast.
Well, I don't think they would match because there would be a disconnect between our precinct here and theirs up there. By the time you get the votes up there, the numbers aren't gonna be correct because they had people up there. So 28% of people early voted.
But
And
the
if-
county already verified they did match, or they couldn't have sent them into the Secretary of State.
Oh, I just wanna make sure, because I think that's our job,
But that's not our job, that's the county's job.
but we wanna make sure that our people in our precincts are heard.
They
their
were,
votes-
their vote counted, definitely. I mean, if anybody within our precincts think that somebody committed voter fraud, they should definitely file a complaint through the proper channels.
I would like to add, council members, that the county auditor did tell me that they ensured that evening or after the process that no one had voted twice.
But it shouldn't have been allowed to happen in the first place, and that's where I think there's a disconnect. And I just want an answer, because I'm not gonna be able to sleep at night knowing that I saw issues here and I haven't heard an actual answer on it. I've heard that there was a human error, but I haven't heard what that was, and I just don't want it to happen again. So I don't know how we can help.
I agree with you 100%, Councilman Merle, and I think we need to go through the right channels. And
Yep.
I think we should have further discussion on this in the past, but I don't believe this is the meeting to do that. We're not really here for that tonight.
I guess I disagree. This is the canvassing board. This is where we talk about it. And Josie, was there,
But the numbers were right. The numbers matched. I mean, we don't have the authority on the city level, as far as I know, to be able to really do anything about it. We could demand a recount on the city's dime. I mean, and that, it really doesn't make sense at this point. I think we should go through the regular channels. Do you have anything to add to this, Josie?
yeah, that's,
I will add some, but did you have a specific question?
no, it was about what you had sent me.
Right,
Yep.
Okay. So the process would be, if the council does not approve the canvas board results, which is matching the tape to the abstract that was submitted to us by the county, the next vote that should be under consideration is for a recount, because that is what you are stating, that I don't agree with this, therefore I don't agree with the results, that I don't agree with that they do match, even though it says they match, I question it. Then that is to vote for a recount, and that would be for the city to pay for and for the city to take that on, okay?
Do we have a third option and just call a special meeting when we can have a full council? But I would still I'd like to try to take another vote on this one more time before we do that. After
Which we
since
can.
we've already had a
If we-
discussion about it.
If the council does not take action on this, and hypothetically, did not motion and vote and pass a motion to move forward with a recount at the city's cost, then the council could be held at a position where you have not done your statutory obligation, which is to approve or make a motion to do a recount, and anyone that could be wronged because of that decision could be that we are pushing out the fact that there are certain days, 7 days, that people have to be able to challenge the results. No one can challenge the results until the canvas board has passed the results. So that gets pushed out. We also would not be able to have the city clerk pass on to the county the fact that we are saying that our candidates that won. So there could be some challenges if the council doesn't take action to pass this tonight.
What was the petition that you had mentioned? Can you give some more explanation on that and what that would look like?
Sure. So if someone does not agree with the results, and it could be anyone, doesn't have to be a council member, but it could be anyone doesn't agree with either results or that there was something that they did not feel was handled correctly during an election process, there is a procedure in place in statute. It's statute 204B.44, errors and omissions and remedy. So any wrongful act, omission or error of any election judge, municipal clerk, county auditor, canvassing board, or any of its members, secretary of state, or any other individual charged with any duty concerning an election, that a person can make a petition, and in our instance of being in the city, would petition to any judge in Isani County. I imagine that there's a form. I haven't pulled up a form, but I would imagine there's something that you'd put in writing that you would then submit to the Isani County judge, saying that you want this, I would imagine, to be looked into. The petition shall describe the error, the omission, or wrongful act, and the correction sought by the petitioner. The petitioner shall be filed with any judge of the Supreme Court, well, Supreme Court if you're at the state election, or county judge for municipal or school district office. The petitioner shall serve a copy of the petition on the officer, board, or individual charged with the error, omission, or wrongful act on all candidates for the office in the case of an election for a state, federal, county, municipal, or school district office, and on any other party as required by the court. Upon receipt of the petition, the court shall immediately set a time for a hearing on the matter and order the officer, board, or individual charged with the error, omission, or wrongful act to correct the error or wrongful act, or perform the duty or show cause for not doing so. In the case of a review of a candidate's eligibility to hold office, the court may order the candidate to appear and present sufficient evidence of a candidate's eligibility. The court shall issue its findings and a final order for appropriate relief as soon as possible after the hearing. Failure to obey the order is contempt of court.
So that process is already there, and that's a Minnesota state statute. And I don't want to beat this thing dead, but it's just, when people are concerned about something, especially election integrity, I think it's something that is good to look into. I guess I would like to see that we table this until we get the information from the county, exactly how many ballots were potentially missed. So 28% roughly voted early, and I believe they said in the meeting 19% were the day before. Now, the 3 people that I talked to or interacted with had all voted the day before. So if you have 19%, which is roughly 5,000 people voted the day before, how many were missed on that day? And, it's great that they said they checked, but they shouldn't have had to check that in the first place. It should have been done properly and caught in the first place. So, people that came in and vote didn't feel uncomfortable. I didn't feel uncomfortable because it's like, well, this is kind of an issue. So I just like to have a conversation, whether we table it until we get all the information, just because I want to make sure that it doesn't happen next time. There are local votes that were separated by only a few votes, and I think that's, I think it's a duty of an election judge, especially a council member that is an election judge, to, ask the questions and hope for better next time. If there's a thing that we can do to help the county make it better next time so it doesn't happen, or what sort of check and balance we can put in place. That's really my goal. I don't want to delay it forever. I just want to have the opportunity to get the information and to hopefully make sure it doesn't happen again.
Okay, if I understand what Josie said correctly, there's proper channels to go through. It's easier and the ball gets rolling faster if we approve this, because then it starts the ball quicker for somebody to object to our vote and be able to go forward with it. If we do nothing, we're going to just, it could take a long time for this to get figured out. There's nothing to figure out because everything we're talking about is hypotheticals.
It's not though it happened.
Huh?
It's not though it happened.
It's on the county level. That's all I'm saying. We can't table this and come back according to what I understand. Jeff, what are you thinking over there?
Well, can you table this, or what's the protocol for that?
So we have within, let me verify here, how many days? We have to have a canvassing board meeting within so many days following the election. I believe that the date goes until Thursday.
But does that mean it has to be approved, or that we just have to have a meeting for it? Because really, a lot of the times, if there's,
It's approval, because everything, what did you just say? The certificate of election, for those to be issued to the candidates who won the election, have to be done after the time of challenging, which could be anybody asking for a recount themselves, can't occur until after this meeting of passing and acknowledging that the voter tapes match the abstract of the county. So all those things get put on hold. So technically, could you postpone? I would say it's possible until Thursday. We'd have to call a special meeting and hope that we can have everybody attend, or at least a quorum on Thursday evening, or, well, it could be during the day, I guess, doesn't matter. Could you look up that?
I don't understand how that,
State
I
statute
think
sets the
we should
timeframe
do
of.
the people's work and
Between
just,
how many days following the election we have to hold the canvass board meeting, so we'll look that up. I believe we have until Thursday.
Okay.
I don't understand how they can expect a county or a city to certify that an election was perfect in 7 days. So I just-
because we're not certifying, basically, we are in a sense certifying election, but we're not. Alls we're doing is confirming that the number of ballots cast match the ticker tapes. And they do. The
in
county-
just this precinct?
The auditor had to swear to that when she sent those numbers into the SOS. And after that, then the ball can get rolling to be able to detest the results, and any other issues there may be, but that's why I was saying at the beginning of this meeting, I mean, we're not here to discuss hypotheticals, we're here to
So I-
confirm that the numbers that we heard were real numbers and confirmed through the SOS.
So when asked a question through the Secretary of State's office on the role that the city plays, and I'm not an attorney, but I'm going to try to read this as if I were a wannabe. So the obligation of the municipality from the Secretary of State for the canvass board, the city council is required by statute to canvass the returns of the election. The canvass and approval of the report is ministerial, meaning it is mandatory, which was in a findings, and it would be, what's a court action, Coleman versus Ritchie, in 2009. So that doesn't mean a whole lot, other than the fact that there has been precedent set by a judge at the state that says that this is within your obligation to canvass the results. Or, as I've been told by the city attorney, there is the option to do a recount if you don't believe the results.
So that petition that you had mentioned, I don't remember the statute number, 250, was it 254?
204B.44.
So is that something that we could do as a city after this sort of meeting? Say if hypothetically we were to approve the canvassing board, is that something we could do as a city after this meeting? Or does it have to be done before this meeting before we canvass the results?
In looking at this, it does not say, where I am seeing it anywhere, that says it has to be within a certain time frame. But it does say any individual may file a petition. So I do not believe it can be the city council, but it could be an individual member or persons. But I don't see that there is a time frame on that. And the 10th day following the election would be Friday.
Jeff, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I don't think a recount, so if somebody early votes on Sunday or Monday and then comes in and wants to vote again, and they could, I don't think a recount's gonna catch that, because you're
It
just
wouldn't.
literally counting votes. You need to go and see the voter log to find something like that. So a recount's pointless at that point. But I would like to see if somebody early voted on Sunday or Monday and then came in and tried to vote in person on election day, I would like to have them come forward too, because that's where the rubber meets the road, is individuals.
That's an individual voter fraud, and somebody would have to make a complaint, and I have not heard one complaint from anybody saying that they've seen individual voter fraud. We're just talking hypotheticals. I'd really like to see this board do the right thing, approve this canvas returns, and then if you have a complaint and you know, if any candidate or council member or election judge or individual member of the public want to contest it, they need to go through the right channels after that. I mean, we can't, we don't have the power really to do anything else. I mean, it's a great discussion, and I'm glad we're talking about it, and
I just
there's-
want accountability. Accountability. That's all I'm looking for.
I
Now,
do
how do we
too.
do that? That's,
100%.
yeah, and it's really a bummer that the information hasn't been given to us yet. I wish it would have come to us before this meeting. But I can't approve just knowing that there are people out there that feel like their vote didn't count, and I don't feel right about it. And whether that's my role here as a council member or an election judge, I'm not really sure. I see what you're
I don't-
saying, though.
I don't think it is our job to do that. I mean, there's there's so many scenarios that I can come up with right now, which is the same scenario that you put forward. We don't have 100% evidence from anybody. There's nobody in this room saying they feel their vote was disfranchised. I mean,
I was there and I experienced it myself. So,
what you experienced was a hypothetical, somebody came in. You know, when I voted on Sunday myself, I also thought the exact same thing. I wonder if the county is gonna be quick enough to get to the city and take my name off the voter roll. You know, it happened, obviously. You know, there is some personal integrity and responsibility on the individual voter to do the right thing.
Right.
I mean.
absolutely.
And them type of things are really hard to find out, but it isn't our job as a city council, but it is, you know, we can, as a council, try to push forward to get more transparency on that and get the county to check their boxes a little bit better. I mean, they had a lot of people vote. I could understand that maybe Sunday's numbers or maybe Monday's. I'm not sure if they voted on Monday too. It could have been
They did.
Monday's. Okay, so it could have been Monday's numbers that didn't get over
Those were
here
the numbers that did not get put in.
Didn't get over here quick enough.
So,
I mean, the odds of anybody actually knowing that and coming in and voting, and it's on them. If they get caught, like I said, it's a felony on them. I don't see how it can ruin a whole election.
I don't think it
Or cause
did.
the city to have to do a recount because of that, because to be able to find that would be really hard, and I'd still like to try one more time to make a motion to approve the resolution for the canvas returns. I motion again.
I'll second it, for the pure fact that there's no point of a recount.
We're gonna talk about this in another meeting.
I want to.
Okay,
And I
perfect.
think it's something we definitely need to discuss. I mean, I'm just as concerned as you
All right,
are
yeah.
about it, but I'd like to see this go forward in the correct channels. And I understand, and I'm glad we had the discussion because we do need to protest this. And I think we did a good job doing it tonight. And the county better take care of this problem, and it better not happen again if we have early voting next time around. It has to be done on time, and I think next time around too, we should set this meeting after, or at least the same day, because they have theirs early in the morning as the county, so that we can even get more clarity, so that this situation doesn't happen
We
again.
did do that, and their meeting met this morning, and I was told by a county commissioner that they were gonna talk in length about this, and they never talked about it.
Okay.
So that, I was waiting for that meeting so we could get this information, so I'd know if I'd have to come forward with this or not. And they didn't talk about it in the meeting, so it's really disappointing. You know, I've talked to 3 county commissioners about it, and I haven't gotten an answer yet, other than it's human error. Okay, how big is the human error? How many votes? So, yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree, but I'm still not gonna say yay on it, just for that reason.
So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So we have two,
Completed by anyone opposed?
anyone opposed?
Aye.
We have 2 for, 1 against, motion pass. I knew it was gonna be a tough meeting.
So do we need a motion to adjourn? Motion to
Oh,
adjourn?
do we have a motion to adjourn?
Aye, me.
Second.
We have a motion to adjourn by Councilmember Merle and a second by Councilman Holgram. This meeting is adjourned.
All in favor, say
All in
aye.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Motion,
We are adjourned.
Thank you.
meeting adjourned.